In the tranquil town of Sanache in southeastern Mexico, a once serene Tuesday afternoon was disrupted by an unsettling sound, the ominous hissing of a locust invasion. The town's 3,100 residents soon discovered the aftermath as leaves from fruit trees vanished and half-eaten lemons and oranges covered the ground. The culprits were not elusive. All eyes turned skyward. Over the state of Yucatan, sprawling clouds of locusts had dominated the skies throughout the week. These voracious insects descended upon shopping plazas, collided with apartment windows, and devoured every hint of greenery in local parks, Metro reported. The surreal scene prompted both social media users and the Mexican press to ponder whether this ecological disturbance signaled an impending apocalypse. Drawing biblical parallels, some reference the 8th plague in Exodus, where locusts afflicted Egypt. Farmers faced challenges as locusts infiltrated cornfields mid-harvest, leading some to resort to pesticides to combat the swarms, Publimentary reported. Urban areas lacking sufficient vegetation became the next target as locusts sought trees, bushes, and flowers. Mérida, the state capital located 30 miles southwest of Sanache, found itself overrun by thousands of locusts since Monday, particularly affecting major thoroughfares and neighborhoods. Despite Mérida's infrequent encounters with locust plagues, officials anticipate the swarms to depart the city in a few days, ideally landing in less populated areas. A monitoring and extermination plan has been activated to mitigate the impact of the locust.
Every now and again, we hear of millions or thousands of dead fish being washed ashore. Most recently, this happened in Jamaica along the shore of the parish of St. Andrew. News of what happened was posted by the Jamaica Gleaner on the 10th of December 2023 when several persons tumbled on the scene of thousands of dead fish. This is only a few days after a similar occurrence in Japan where thousands of dead sardines and some mackerels washed ashore. Some of these speculations of the cause include larger predators chasing the school of fish, which results in exhaustion and oxygen depletion, and rapid temperature change in the water during their travel. However, there is still no solid explanation of what exactly took place. As for Jamaica, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has suggested the reason for the plethora of dead fish is a phenomenon known as eutrophication. Eutrophication is a process where a body of water becomes enriched with nutrients and it leads to the overgrowth of plants and algae. But how does this affect the fish, you may ask? Well, with overgrowth and decreased water clarity, algae consume oxygen found in the water, and when they die, the bacteria which decompose them also use up oxygen. Fish need oxygen to survive, and we can imagine what happens when it is only available in a small quantity. They may try to relocate or, unfortunately, succumb to suffocation. The individuals that would take the hardest hit from such a phenomenon would be fisherfolk, as they depend on catching and selling fish as their source of income to care for themselves and their loved ones.
We begin tonight in central Tennessee, where powerful storms killed at least 6 people and unleashed a trail of terror in the state. Tonight, crews are still digging out from the rubble after an outbreak of tornadoes flipped trucks, flattened homes, and toppled power lines. Tens of thousands of people are still without power right now. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez leads us off tonight in Nashville, Tennessee.
There was little doubt as the intense storm blew through Middle Tennessee.
Oh my God!
That these incredibly large funnel clouds near the heart of Nashville,
oh my God,
would cause major damage.
I hope nobody was in those houses. Guys, it was really bad.
This is the rubble left in its wake, devastating, deadly, and widespread.
This morning we have a lot of families who are suffering.
The damage is heaviest in Clarksville and in Hendersonville, where little is left of this antique mart. That's where Pam Miller and 5 customers, including Sheila Mays and Gwendolyn Murphy Gardner, rushed to the shelter below.
We got down to the basement just in time. Within about less than 5 minutes, we shut the door and everything began to rip apart.
Tonight, those here are salvaging what they can, cleaning up and taking stock.
Yeah, we need help. We need help.
Crews have been deployed to these hard-hit neighborhoods to try to restore power, but at last check, more than 20,000 customers were still without electricity, and temperatures are expected to dip below freezing overnight.
Africa's young population is set to double by 2050. Ensuring they have access to nutritious food to maintain their development is a priority for many leaders and organizations on the continent. However, it's much easier said than done. Several factors are hindering Africa's efforts to meet the food security and nutrition targets of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. These include factors that are within their control, such as internal conflicts, but many which they cannot influence, such as climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and external conflicts. The fighting between Russia and Ukraine, countries which are major suppliers of wheat to Africa, has brought huge challenges. The Food and Agriculture Organization, the UN Economic Commission for Africa, the World Food Programme and the African Union Commission have released a joint report highlighting alarming statistics on food insecurity and malnutrition in the continent. According to the findings, in 2022, nearly 282 million people in Africa were undernourished, an increase of 57 million people since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. An estimated 868 million people were moderately or severely food insecure in the same year, with more than 2/3 of this population being from Central, Eastern and Western Africa. Among those affected the most are children under the age of 5, where 30% of them are stunted because of malnutrition. The agencies say they hope these findings will trigger new momentum for agri-food systems transformation in Africa.